forward.
Still going strong in their 80s, the brothers who revolutionized the fitness world Wednesday at 11.
I'm Katie Couric. The slaying of the Amish children. As Moore died today, chilling new details about the gunman and the demons that were haunting him. President Bush gives House Speaker Dennis Hastert a vote of confidence as another bombshell drops in that congressional page scandal. Let the Dow take a bow. The blue chip index closes at an all-time record high. And how many times have you seen this image? Tonight, the story behind the picture and the man behind the movie.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Hi, everyone. It's still so difficult to think about, and 24 hours later, almost impossible to comprehend what happened in that one-room Amish schoolhouse. 2 more of the young girls shot by Charles Roberts died today, bringing the death toll to 5. 4 others are in critical condition. And it now appears Roberts had been planning to sexually assault the children as well. What drove him to do this? The police today described a man tormented by his past, a past that included molesting 2 children when he would have been about 12 years old. From Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, here's national correspondent Byron Pitts.
On this sun-soaked day filled with so much sorrow, the Amish here gathered and grieved in private, but they were not alone. Down the road, another vigil for neighbors of different faiths with identical questions. Why here? Why innocent schoolgirls?
Here's what, one of the notes would look like.
The killers say state police provided the answers. In this suicide note to his wife, mass murderer Charles Roberts confessed that he was a child molester, abusing 2 female relatives 20 years ago, and he wrote, the urges had returned. I am filled with so much hate towards myself, he said, hate towards God, and unimaginable emptiness.
Roberts mentioned suicide in his suicide note that he was having dreams of molesting again.
Roberts also wrote of the grief he'd felt after the death of the couple's firstborn baby girl 9 years ago. All demons apparently kept hidden from the family, co-workers at the milk plant where he worked, even the teachers at his children's school.
Good father, attended PTO meetings, came to parent-teacher conferences. Very wonderful family.
That family man walked into the Nickel Mines Amish one-room school Monday morning, armed for a rampage and rape. A loaded shotgun, pistol, rifle, stun gun, 600 rounds of ammunition, enough wood to barricade the building, plastic handcuffs, a sex cream, and a change of clothes. He ordered all the adults and male students out and bound the feet of the remaining 10 girls ages 6 to 13. He shot them all at point-blank range. None of the girls were sexually assaulted. Authorities believe because state troopers caught Roberts by surprise.
He fired 13 rounds from the 9mm Springfield Arms automatic, and then he reloaded. He fired at least 1 more round into himself.
10 girls from 7 families.
I'm upset, especially when I think of, the kids I delivered.
Rita Rose, a local midwife. She helped deliver most of the girls. She remembers 7-year-old Naomi Rose Ebersol. Her parents adored her.
Their daughter that died was their only daughter. They have a family full of boys, and I remember, when that girl was born, they were just so tickled that they finally got a girl, and now she's gone.
As for the 5 girls who survived, 4 remain in critical condition. 1 has been upgraded to serious. Katie?
Byron, I know the Amish don't believe in taking photographs or being photographed themselves, so what tangible memories will these families have of their little girls?
Sure. Well, as is their tradition, the parents can keep a set of their clothing, some of their toys, and Katie, a lock of the little girl's hair.
All right, Byron, thanks so much. With one school shooting after another over this past week, parents all over America are wondering whether their children are safe. We're going to look at school security now in 2 very different parts of the country. First, here's Kelly Kobiea in Texas.
In tiny towns like Ladonia, Texas, a locked door is about as rare as a stranger's face, even at the local school.
Come on, let's go, let's go.
But after 2 small-town school shootings in a week, Principal Greg Carpenter wonders whether he's doing enough to keep his 200 kids safe.
it really does make us as principals think, okay, if that situation happens with us, are we ready? Am I prepared? Can I handle it?
Especially considering that 15 of the last 20 school shootings have been in communities of fewer than 25,000.
Come on, babe.
But like here, many small schools barely have the budget to get by, let alone to invest in cameras, metal detectors, and security guards. So Carpenter is left to do what the state mandates, practice lockdown drills, and know that calling 911 would bring a sheriff's deputy in 15 minutes.
The extent of your security is eyes, ears, and a phone call. I mean, that's got to be a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's, we can't live our lives in fear, and you do what you have to do.
And with a tight budget, all they can afford to do is to practice their emergency plan and pray they never have to use it. Kelly Kobiella, CBS News, Ladonia, Texas.
I'm Cynthia Bowers in Winnetka, Illinois. Even though these images feel heartbreakingly familiar, these pictures are from 18 years ago, from one of the first school shootings in U.S. history.
As the children were being rushed to hospitals, the suspect fled to a house here a block away.
In all, 5 children were critically wounded that day. 1 was killed. All second graders shot in their Hubbard Woods classroom by a troubled local babysitter. The former Winnetka superintendent says every school shooting since only serves as a reminder of that horrible day.
There is often a sense where you least expect it. When it happens, it has an impact.
Back in 1988, school security often meant waving at the front office as you walk by. As you might imagine, that changed overnight in schools around the area. And still today, even parents with kids in the district like me can't get past the front door without permission. All security measures are updated every time a school is caught in the crossfire.
We really take the opportunity to review our crisis plan. How would we have handled this?
It's a sad fact here, born of terrible experience. The first dollar of every budget is spent on security. Cynthia Bowers, CBS News, Winnetka, Illinois.
Meanwhile, more bizarre twists in the growing scandal involving former Florida Congressman Mark Foley. His lawyer acknowledged today that Foley is gay, but denied Foley had sex with congressional pages. And then he made a shocking claim. Gloria Borgers in our Washington Bureau with more on the story. Gloria?
Katie, as word spread today of more sordid emails between former Congressman Mark Foley and minors, his lawyer took to the microphones late today to deliver this bombshell.
Mark is asked that you be told that between the ages of 13 and 15, he was molested by a clergyman.
His lawyer announced that Foley is gay, but claims he never had inappropriate sexual contact with any minor and remains in rehab. Mark Foley's congressional career ended last Friday. The one in jeopardy today belongs to House Speaker Dennis Hastert. He spent the day insisting he won't resign, admitting to some mistakes.
The blame is squarely in our corner.
And he did get this show of support from the president.
I know that he wants all the facts to come out, and he wants to ensure that these children up there on Capitol Hill are protected.
But the Washington Times, a conservative newspaper, wanted Hastert's scalp, calling his management of the Foley scandal grossly negligent, and accused him of giving phony answers to questions about his internal investigation. Then Hastert's top lieutenant, John Boehner, jumped ship.
In my position, it's in his corner, it's his responsibility. The clerk of the House, who runs the page program, the page board, all report to the Speaker, and I believe that it had been dealt with.
Sources tell CBS News that members were equally blunt with Hastert on a conference call last night, in which some called for an end to the page program, and others called for him to take some responsibility, especially since Hastert's staff was first alerted to the initial Foley emails a year ago. What do I say back home, one Republican asks. We need to change the subject. But that's hard, especially when there's a secondary story here, one that rank-and-file Republicans will only talk about privately, that it was common knowledge that former Congressman Foley was gay and not discreet. One senior House Republican tells CBS that there's a lot of anger at what he describes as a network of gay staffers and gay members who protect each other and did the Speaker a disservice. Republicans worry that their voters could well decide to sit this election out if they're disgusted. And that could mean the party loses control of the House, Katie.
And Gloria, that claim of abuse that Foley's lawyer made earlier today or later today, this afternoon, is he using that as some kind of excuse for Foley's behavior?
Well, Katie, he said specifically that he is not using it as an excuse. Rather, it's a way to kind of explain Foley's behavior, but you can be sure that lots of people are going to start calling it the abuse excuse.
All right, Gloria Borger. Gloria, thanks so much. Meanwhile, in tonight's CBS News briefing, new details about the warning the Bush administration received 2 months before September 11th. Condoleezza Rice's office confirmed she did meet with CIA Director George Tenet in July of 2001. Our national security correspondent David Martin has learned that Tenet gave a slide presentation warning that a spectacular terror attack was imminent. In his new book, Bob Woodward says Rice brushed aside that warning, but a former aide to Tenet admits there was no indication the attacks would be inside the U.S. October is off to a violent start in Iraq. 15 U.S. soldiers and Marines have died since Sunday. That follows 74 U.S. deaths in September, the second deadliest month this year. 76 Americans were killed in April. And North Korea threatened again today to conduct a nuclear test. The White House condemned the plan. The UN Security Council will take up the issue tomorrow. For more on these and other stories, you can check out our website at cbsnews.com. Coming up next, how now or what now Dow Jones? The stock market's long road to a record high. But where does it go from here?
My kids call me the finisher. Finish up in there.
Okay.
Finish your homework?
Yes.
Finish your vegetables. Something I thought I was finished with? Managing my acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn, but my doctor said over time, stomach acid was damaging the lining of my esophagus. She prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. One prescription Nexium pill a day not only relieves my heartburn, it healed erosions in my esophagus. So I don't just feel better, I am better. My doctor did say headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium, and other serious stomach conditions may still exist.
Talk to your doctor about Nexium, the healing purple pill, and find out if a free trial is right for you.
I tell him you shouldn't do anything halfway. Let's finish up.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
If there were a store in your town called Peace of Mind, would you pay it a visit? Across America, in towns big and small, there is such a place, New York Life. It starts with our values of financial strength, integrity, and humanity, and continues with our agents. So look for us in your town. You may already know our people, and we are confident that peace of mind is why New York Life is the company you keep.
When you've got a burning, scratchy sore throat, a few blasts can change everything. Introducing Vicks 44 Sore Throat. Fast sore throat pain relief with cooling Vicks vapors. New Vicks 44 Sore Throat. Tell your throat to just chill.
Denny's works for me because even my teenage boys get filled up. I didn't think that was possible.
Denny's new Extreme Grand Slam could fill anybody up. Now with more bacon and sausage, just $5.99. Denny's.
Works for me.
For everyday shower cleaning at the touch of a button? Scrubbing Bubbles Automatic Shower Cleaner. It covers your entire shower every day, which means it works like this. Cleaning mold and mildew stains, soap scum, even curtain scum. Cleans a dirty shower in days. Keeps a clean shower clean from day one. Every day. Scrubbing Bubbles Automatic Shower Cleaner. Made for your shower. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Well, we haven't been able to say this in more than 6 years, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at a record high, 11,727. And here's the main reason: oil down more than $4 a barrel in the past 2 days, closing today at the lowest price in 7 months. Anthony Mason reports on the stock market's long road back in tonight's Eye on the Economy.
It took nearly 7 years for the closing bell to ring in a new high for the Dow, but Wall Street was hardly going wild.
The high is important, but to just reach it is kind of like a tie in a ball game. You've got to really exceed it to say something dramatic to Main Street from Wall Street.
But on Main Street, investors like what they see.
Are you seeing a difference in your portfolio?
Oh, yes, of course.
Isis Concepcion, an anesthesiologist, has much of her retirement savings in the market.
How important is that money to you?
Well, it's more important now that it's doing better.
When the Dow last hit a record high back in January of 2000, Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan was warning of troubles ahead. He was right. That year, the stock market bubble burst. Then 9/11 hit. A recession followed. The Dow tumbled to 7,200, a more than 4,000-point fall. But while the Dow's finally recovered, the tech-heavy NASDAQ is still worth less than half what it was 6 years ago.
It hurt?
You bet.
California retiree Monique Culver doesn't trust this new rally.
So history has made you suspicious.
You live alone.
She's not alone. With existing home prices falling for the first time in more than a decade, and a new study showing homeowners spending more and more of their incomes on housing costs, some Wall Street analysts see another bubble in the economy.
My concern is we really just transferred that bubble from tech stocks to real estate, and I think the unwinding of that problem is still very much ahead of us, not behind us.
But for now, falling oil prices are what's fueling this stock rally and finally making many 401ks look a lot richer. Katie, it's been a long road back.
Yeah, it sure has. Thanks, Anthony. Coming up next, will the latest Capitol Hill scandal be the final chapter for the Page program? You'll hear from a former Page in tonight's Free Speech.
I think it happens to a lot of guys over 50. See, I was always going during the movies and hating to stand up, going during a presentation and hating to stand out.
For you this afternoon.
And once I got there, I had trouble going, and I was going 3 times a night. I said to my doctor, I have a going problem. He said, you have a growing problem. It's not your bladder, your prostate is growing. See, I had an enlarging prostate. My doctor prescribed Avodart.
Most medicines only treat symptoms. Avodart, with time, actually shrinks the prostate and improves urinary symptoms.
So I can go more easily when I need to go and go less often.
Only your doctor can tell if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not a more serious condition such as prostate cancer, so have regular prostate exams. Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to the risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely, sexual side effects, tenderness, or swelling of the breast can occur. Call your doctor today. Avodart for your growing problem.
It was love at first sight. The way he looked at me, I knew he was the one. Frankie gives me that same look every single morning. I love how important he makes me feel.
A love like this deserves Iams Nutrition. Iams Original with Chicken is complete with more real chicken, eggs, and fish oil than the leading competitor for the healthiest he can be for life. Life's better on Iams. And now, Iams comes in 4 delicious varieties, including tuna and chicken.
Serenity has a leg up on bladder control protection because our underwear now comes in a second absorbency that's more absorbent. New Super Plus. Serenity by Tena. The protection you trust. Now in underwear.
Cancer runs in Lisa Garcia's family. And right now, 8,000 Merck scientists are working to fight cancer and other diseases like obesity, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. Merck, where patients come first.
Mom, these are awesome. You used to fit into these?
Total, 100 calories to help you lose weight. 100% whole grain to help keep your shape.
Hey, sweetie, I want those back.
Totally manage your weight. Try more great flavors from Total. They're totally delicious.
The Congressional Page scandal we've been telling you about is not the first. There was one back in the 1980s involving sex and drugs, and it almost brought the Page program to an end. In Free Speech tonight, a former House Page tells you why he believes this program is so important. Richie Frolickstein is now a 17-year-old high school senior from suburban St. Louis.
For as long as I can remember, I have been interested in politics.
My friends remember me telling them in kindergarten that I would be president one day. I visited Washington with my mom when I was 8 years old. On a tour of the Capitol, I saw a page at work. It seems incredible now, but back then, I told myself I'd do that someday too. Last spring, during my junior year in high school, I did become a page, and what a life-changing experience it was. The nearly 100 students from across the country who become pages each year get incredible access, an inside look at how our government works from the floor of the House of Representatives or the Senate. On my second night in D.C., I attended the State of the Union address. With the recent developments in the Foley scandal, it seems that the focus on the PAGE program has been a negative one, which is too bad, because the program was so positive for me. When I left home, my parents trusted the PAGE program staff to take care of me and keep me safe. Trust that was well placed. Throughout the semester, I realized every day how lucky I was. I attended classes every morning at a special school for pages on the top floor of the Library of Congress. After school, I walked across the street to the United States Capitol and thought, I see kids taking tours every day, and here I am getting paid to work here. That thrill stays with me today as I hope to return to Washington for college. It is unfortunate that, due to this one member of Congress, the entire program has had a shadow cast over it. Still, I am proud to call myself a member of the small community of people that make up the Page alumni. I would go back in a second if I had the chance.
Maybe you will, Richie. As a member of Congress, 2 current senators and 11 representatives are former pages. Or perhaps you'll follow in Bill Gates' footsteps. He was a page too. Now, about last night's free speech, we've gotten a lot of reaction, much of it angry, to the comments by Brian Rohrbaugh, whose son was murdered in the Columbine massacre. There's a very lively conversation about this going on at CBSNews.com, and we invite you to join in. Coming up next, the story behind an iconic image and what it taught a Hollywood legend about war.
Let's go now to Jorge Carmona for an update on the impending meteor shower. Jorge?
That's right, Tina. The scientists here are saying that the direct cosmic impact will happen in the next few hours.
To hold more unwanted things every time, use Glad ForceFlex trash bags. Their unique diamond texture means you don't have to be afraid of overstuffing. Glad ForceFlex. And now ForceFlex bags come in lawn and leaf for all your trash needs. Get Glad.
Introducing Polident Fresh Cleanse.
Wow, a foam denture cleanser that cleans and keeps freshening for hours.
It's fresh, foam, fabulous.
Only Polident Fresh Cleanse micro cleans away stains, kills 99.9% of odor-causing bacteria, and releases breath fresheners that last up to 5 hours.
My breath has never felt this fresh this long.
This is clean and fresh.
New Polident Fresh Cleanse. Experience lasting freshness.
Still fresh.
I'm ready to fight my cancer.
I'm ready to begin chemotherapy.
I really am ready because I'm going to take Neulasta right from the start to help protect me from infection.
Chemotherapy can reduce your white blood cell count and increase your risk of infection, which could put your treatment on hold. But Neulasta is a white blood cell booster that can help restore your white blood cell count to reduce your risk of infection. And with a sufficient white blood cell count, your doctor may have a better chance of giving you your chemo on schedule, which doctors agree is the first step to success. Neulasta is for most cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. In rare cases, splenic rupture or serious allergic reactions have been reported. Report abdominal or shoulder pain or any allergic reaction to your doctor immediately. The most common side effect of this injection is mild to moderate bone pain.
I'm ready to start.
I'm ready to fight.
I'm ready. Thanks to Neulasta.
Ask your doctor about Neulasta and how you can be ready for chemotherapy.
Your risks are always evolving. Shouldn't your insurance stay in sync? Travelers.
A crackdown on deadbeat parents. The state is telling 15,000 of them to pay up or else. It's the or else that makes this story newsworthy. The story at 6.
The Marines who took Iwo Jima during World War II will forever be American heroes, and one iconic photograph preserves their heroism forever. Tonight, Bill Whitaker has an exclusive conversation with the Hollywood legend who's bringing that photograph to life.
It's the single most famous image captured during World War II, the photo of 6 Marines planting the U.S. flag on Iwo Jima's Mount Suribachi.
It was about the biggest battle in Marine Corps history, the most loss of life of any Marine campaign.
Director Clint Eastwood's new movie, Flags of Our Fathers, based on the book of the same title, is the true story of how one image electrified the nation. It turned the flag raisers into instant heroes.
The heroes of Iwo Jima.
And the government used the heroic pose to raise money at a critical point in the war.
We'd appreciate it if you bought bonds in honor of them.
Never publicizing that it wasn't exactly as it seemed. It was an inch-by-inch bloody battle to take the volcanic island, its airstrip crucial to the planned U.S. invasion of Japan, the Japanese hiding in miles of underground tunnels. Marines said Iwo Jima was like hell. John Huffhines was with the 5th Marine Division.
You never get over it. It's always with you.
It was on the 5th day of the invasion that Marines took the high ground and planted a flag on Mount Suribachi. This first flag is the one the Marines remember, so they said at a recent reunion.
The fighting stopped when that flag went up. Even the Japs didn't fire. It was quiet. Everybody stood up and cheered.
Raymond Jacobs helped raise the first flag. He said an officer wanted it as a souvenir and ordered a bigger one to replace it. The raising of the second flag happened so quickly the Marines thought it was nothing special. But it was.
We often said that the first flag raising was for the Marines on the island in combat, whereas the second flag raising was for the American people back home.
The battle for Iwo Jima raged a month more. 3 of the 6 Marines in the famous picture lost their lives there. One of them, Sergeant Mike Strank, was fighting next to Ralph Griffiths.
A shell dropped in front of him. It took Sergeant Strank's heart and chest right out. Killed him, wounded me.
As for the 3 who survived the island, the pain of war would follow them till the end of their lives.
I can't take them calling me a hero. All I did was try not to get shot.
So what do you think? Were these guys heroes?
Yeah, I think they're all heroes.
Eastwood is now finishing up a second movie on Iwo Jima, this one from the Japanese perspective. He says making the films has given him a greater appreciation of what both sides endured and what American troops accomplished. He hopes Americans remember.
They are the good guys. But at the same token, that the price is pretty heavy. That price is something that the military people are always ready to stand by and pay. And the American people should be appreciative of that.
Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.
CBS News, recent winner of the most Emmys by a network news organization. CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
An unexpected development in a Nashville courtroom where a woman stood accused of killing her husband.
A person in Davidson County is more than a little behind in child support payments, and now the state is out with a word of warning for that person and all the others.
And more problems with mold at the Clarksville Fire Department. We'll tell you about it coming up in a live report.
Well, it's felt a lot like summer today. Some areas getting into the upper 80s today. Your news begins now.
Live with Sky 5. From your news and information leader. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
A very pleasant good evening, everyone. The state of Tennessee is cracking down on thousands of deadbeat parents, and it's going to cost them more than back child support.
The Department of Human Services is threatening to revoke state licenses for more than 15,000 people. News Channel 5's Mark Bellinger is here with a look at just who's affected.
Well, Vicki, you're on the state's list if you're 90 days behind and you owe more than $500 in child support. The state is ready to take away hunting and fishing licenses, professional licenses, and driver licenses. For almost a decade, Colette Murphy has been trying to get her ex-husband to pay the child support he owes. She says he should have